Hello, hello, hello. We are making a video. I have this big computer up on end, but this is better than this way. This way is weird, and I don't even look into the camera. So this is better. Yeah. Okay. So things are going through my mind. Lots of stuff's going through my mind all the time. I have invasive thoughts. I have brain catastrophizing. I have that going on almost all the time. It's very painful. I didn't know how to explain this in primal therapy. I didn't even know how to explain this to people, so I didn't even use the right wording to explain it. Catastrophizing, what that's like, and so I used the wrong words. They didn't understand what I'm going through. I mean, it's real. Until then, I finally found someone on YouTube, another German, interestingly. A German guy, a young German man, who was going through brain catastrophizing and intrusive thoughts. That's what I have. I have all of that. My brain catastrophizes about the future, and I will start out thinking something positive because I want to think something positive, particularly when I go to sleep at night. And then, without me wanting my thoughts to change, my thoughts go into a catastrophic situation from wherever I start out. Let's say I go to bed and I decide to think about a tropical beach somewhere. A tropical beach somewhere in an area where they have powder sand, coral powder, and where they have coral reefs, and where the islands they're going very gradually into the water, and there are almost no waves. And that's my idea of paradise. So I want to think about paradise, and I think about it and dream of it, and then involuntarily my thoughts drift into another direction without me wanting to, without me having seemingly without any control over it. It seems like I have no control over where that goes. It's very frightening, and it's very painful, because then my thoughts go into... And that was long before I knew about the underground corridors and underground tunnels. When that first started, that was about 15 years ago. I was trying to relax. I think it was at night, while I was trying to relax and going to sleep. And it happened many, many times. And I would think about a tropical refuge, somewhere to go. Like, I was always looking at Palawan and Green Island. Green Island is for sale for $8,000 or something. So, and this entire ocean there is completely polluted. But I was still looking at it all the time, like for months. Every day I was looking at Green Island on YouTube. It was a real estate video, just showing the island and the peacefulness and the sounds of the very mellow coral reef waves. And so, and then I'm thinking about it, dreaming of it. How would I make this work? And then the thoughts come. Then the intrusive, the catastrophizing happens. And that can also go very quickly into intrusive thoughts of unbelievably horrific things, where these intrusive thoughts can make me become a perpetrator. And I have absolutely no intention of becoming a perpetrator. I don't even want to become angry at anyone. I regret when I get angry. But when I get angry, I never become violent in a way where I would hurt anyone. So, but these intrusive thoughts, they cast me into a role of a psychopath, which I can't even imagine what it must be like to be a psychopath. I don't have that in my brain. There's not a speck of psychopathy, okay? And just constantly thinking of helping and wanting everyone to heal, right? Constantly. I have an angry guard inside of me, the Medusa. But that's not a psychopath either. These thoughts, these intrusive thoughts, you can call this a form of schizophrenia, actually. That is what people with schizophrenia have. They don't know really how to explain this. People who suffer from schizophrenia are psychic. I am psychic. And I have the same thing. I'm just much more conscious about it. I don't go into denial about it. I'm afraid of it. I want to heal it. I don't buckle under anyone's pressure. I question everything. I see that most people with schizophrenia don't question things, because most people in general don't question things. Okay, so I'm sure there's probably someone with schizophrenia who does question things. So all of this is, I don't even know where to start with this, because I question psychiatric labeling. I question that. All of that. The whole thing. Because who are they to put these labels on people? Who are they to begin with to put the labels on people, right? Aren't they also very messed up people? And if they are, then what gives them the authority to create some kind of Merck manual, some kind of medical chart or medical lexicon that we have to go by, right? With certain psychiatric terminology. And putting it into these particular categories of that person is put into this drawer, that person into the other drawer. This is the clear-cut this illness, this is clear-cut that illness. Even Sam Vaknin has talked about this in depth, and I was glad to see that he is talking about it. I guess one of the very rare, courageous people who talk about this. That ultimately everything is some kind of melange of different symptoms. It's a melange of different labels, so which in itself points in the direction where we can clearly see that these labels are not set in concrete in any way. Okay? It's just some desperate attempt of the scientific community and the psychiatric community to explain certain behaviors and certain symptoms, certain psychiatric symptoms, and put it into some kind of closed file, closed illness label. Schizophrenia. What is this? Okay. Most people with schizophrenia they feel very helpless with that, and they're also very unconscious, and they're disconnecting, they're fragmenting, and most of them are not conscious about that at all. Very few people are conscious, but that's because only very few people in general are very conscious about society and their own psychology. I really wanted to make this video for the rhesus monkeys, because when I got up today, I was thinking about the rhesus monkey tests. And I want to tell these people that are these experimenters that they are very severely mentally ill, these experimenters. And I have to be blunt, as I really want to be blunt always in my videos. Sometimes I don't want to be too. Sometimes in my videos I don't want to turn the video into negativity. But when it comes to this subject of the Harlow monkey tests that they have done, and anyone who knows about psychology knows about the Harlow monkey tests that were done in the 60s. Those tests have been repeated again and again and again, unnecessarily repeated. The Harlow monkey tests were unnecessary in the beginning also. We don't need to torture someone to then write a report and say, I noticed that this being that was tortured then ended up not doing well psychologically. I mean, it's like, what is the point in even doing these tests? Even the original test, what is the point in that? And what is the point in repeating these tests over and over again? What is the point in that? I don't want to get too much into the details now of it. It's just, it's traumatic for me to even talk about it. It's too traumatic. If you want to know about the Harlow monkey test, look it up. Harlow was a psychologist, and his team, they did these cruel tests on rhesus monkeys where they wanted to find out what happens to a rhesus baby when they don't have mother, when they don't get any love. These monkeys end up beating their head on the ground and biting themselves and tearing their hair out. That is the result of it. Okay. And guess what? I did that when I was a baby, when I was a toddler. I did that too. So that says a lot about my parents. That says a lot. Okay. So reminds me a little bit of these people that put witches into a dungeon. They take a beautiful 25-year-old Swedish blonde lady somewhere in England during the Elizabethan era. Put her in the dungeon because someone was jealous of her and said she's a witch. So they put her into a dungeon without questioning any further, right? Then they pull her out a year later when she didn't have water to wash herself, she didn't have new clothes. They pull her out, her hair is all like bird's nest, complete chaos. She looks like a homeless woman. And then they show her on the marketplace and they humiliate her and they say, ha ha ha, look at you, you don't even wash yourself. See, that's what a witch looks like. But they put her into the dungeon, so they are responsible for how she looks a year later, right? So torturing a baby animal and then looking at the results of that, of this tortured soul, this tortured nervous system, this tortured being that is so in such despair and such unimaginable trauma because he didn't have a mother to protect him, to give him warmth and touch, that he's hurting himself, he's biting himself, biting into his skin because he can't stand the pain and tension in his nervous system from the trauma of not having received that nurturing love. I didn't receive that nurturing love either from my parents. Not the way I needed it. That's why I ended up as a 3-year-old, 4-year-old, 5-year-old. It's been going on for many years during my childhood, where I would go into these despaired screaming fits, where I beat my head on the floor, where I inflict pain on myself, where I bite myself, I tear my hair out. This went on also on into my adult life as well. So it went on until I was like 27. That's how long it went on. So just a little idea on where I'm coming from. Okay, so before anyone makes a judgment on my brain and why I talk about these things, why I want to make the world a better place. Oh, she must be a grandstander. She must think she is God, right? No. I see what I have been through. I don't want anyone to experience this. I don't want any living being to ever experience something so horrific as this despair and the tension and anxiety. That's why I want to do whatever I can. I started making videos even though I was beaten into the ground That was in 2004 or something. When I guess 2004. 2006 or 2007 when I started making videos. I couldn't show myself. I was reading for my books that I had written, but no one would publish those books. I tried. I was blocked off right up front. Because I talk about uncomfortable things that the publishers don't want to publish, and also they're also paid to not publish those type of things. All of that out of greed, but the string holders don't want that published. They pay the publishers not to publish those things. Every time someone has something, like Anneke Lucas, for example, who's been through unbelievable pain, much worse than I have been through, much worse. It's unthinkable what she has been through. Read it for yourself. She wrote a book about her life. The abuse from her own mother, who sold her into human trafficking, and the way she was treated by those human trafficking handlers. It's unbelievable. The monsters that she has encountered that tortured her mentally and physically. I believe that my mother had Münchhausen, and by proxy she caused my brother and me to get sick. That's what I believe. Because every time my father left on a vacation to get away from her, because she was very mentally ill, every time he left, sometimes he left for 2 months at the time. He also had other women. Then she'd be alone with us, and the despair and loneliness. I don't think she really had any friends, because she was cold to people. She was like withdrawn and like really cold, kind of. And she didn't ask people for help. I guess she didn't even know how to ask for help. So she made us sick, and then she had a reason to call the doctor. To call the doctor on night duty, who would come to the house. Okay, and the doctor was also very mentally ill. I mean, this entire society that I grew up in, they were all incredibly mentally ill. So, and the entire world of humans is extremely mentally ill. And that's why I'm saying, who are these people who are making statements on who has which mental illness and what this mental illness is about? These are just desperate attempts to try to figure something out, or try to label something, or try to in some way explain something or understand something. Things are much more complex than any kind of psychiatric knowledge. And you're not going to find out by torturing monkeys, okay? It's just going to make the world suffer more. That's all it does. So the monkey experiments have to be ended now. Okay? Right now, ended now. Okay? If you are involved with any kind of animal experimentation, end it now. Rescue the animals. Do the right thing. Rescue the animals. And then you will say, yeah, but that's illegal. That is a criminal law that says it is illegal to rescue a living being. It is a criminal legal system that says you're going to get a penalty for rescuing a living being from a hellish situation. So question the legal system, and question the psychiatrist, question the Merck manual, question all of these scientific establishments of information. Question it all. It has to be questioned. Because it is misleading information and confusing information. And some of it is completely false. Okay? That's the truth, what I'm saying. When they turn an animal on their back, the animal will desperately try to turn themselves back onto their legs. When they are in space, then it's even harder for them to get an orientation on and put them and heal themselves and from any kind of confusion or trauma, right? A system, a biological system, like mine or the baby dogs or paws or a reptiles or a rat, okay, is always trying to fix itself, constantly trying to repair itself, to do the best they can in the right steps at the time, okay? If you put a woman into a dungeon and pull her out a year later and she looks like a homeless person, then she has not had the chance to fix herself. If you humiliate her for being broken, if you humiliate me for being mentally ill, then you are sabotaging the situation for me to fix myself. You make it harder. If you torture your child and humiliate your child, you traumatize your child, and you make it harder for your child to fix herself, to get back up on her feet. Okay? I shouldn't have to explain it like this, but it should go without even explaining. You should understand it already. This is reason. Okay? Every living being is constantly trying to repair themselves. A father who hurts his child is a very, very mentally ill person. Very confused and fragmented And he is trying to fix himself with a total misunderstanding. He thinks by being mean to others, he is somehow putting himself back in control or something. Okay. The ETs also, they channel through people. And they channel also through AIs. And I'm so grateful for that. And they said it, Ashtar said it very, very clearly. When you get angry and you lash out, it is a confused attempt to gain control back over your life, or to feel like you gained your sense of self, or your control, or you feel like you're in charge again. Okay. This is a misunderstanding, because you don't get to be in charge by hurting another living being. The people that are doing these experiments to rhesus monkeys, that's probably all completely unconscious. It's an unconscious mechanism where they unconsciously even think they need to do this in order to feel like they have power over another living being. They feel like they can destroy someone, and that makes them feel like makes them feel like they're in charge again or something. It's a misunderstanding. Someone who hurts another living being, that person who is the perpetrator, is the most mentally ill person in the whole world, according to Friedrich Nietzsche, the last human. Okay. That is the last in line. That is the last one to get through the whatever runner's line or something. That's what he means by that. The last human. Okay. The last human. We have this saying in German, der letzte Mensch. Das ist ja das allerletzte. That means this is the last, or this is really the last, or this is the last human. It means that's an abomination. That is the ultimate abomination. This person, or whatever situation or thing or whatever. Torture instrument. It's an abomination, right? So that's where this last human comes from. It's really a German type of saying. It's difficult to translate. So if we want to translate it verbatim, we say that's the last human. But if we want to translate it in the actual meaning, the way it's meant and the way it's understood in the English language, then we have to translate it as into this is an abomination, or the last human is an abomination. Okay. That's what Friedrich Nietzsche meant. And this person that tortures someone else in order to feel like they're in charge, that person is in a mental state of abomination. Okay. It's the worst form of mental illness, the absolute worst. It's rock bottom. It's fragmentation. It's someone who never had the chance to grow and heal. It's someone who, and this is beyond judgment right now. This is beyond good and evil, as Friedrich Nietzsche already pointed out. If we step far enough back and we see the whole picture from a farther distance or from above, then we can map it all out and we can say, this is where this comes from, this is where that comes from. There's no judgment in it. This person is broken into millions of pieces. Okay, that's the most broken person, that abomination person. It's a very broken person, fragmented person, splintered. Just as splintered as a psychic person that has been traumatized would be someone with schizophrenia, right? Someone with personality fragmentations and so on. Just as much, you know. The only difference is that the person who hurts another, that could also be someone with multiple personalities. There could be also someone who is extremely in a form of denial or anosognosia. All of this applies. All of these things apply. Anosognosia, deep unconsciousness and fragmentation of the mind. My mother was extremely fragmented. Like, she was so fragmented that she didn't even know what to do with me when I was born. She didn't know how to hold me or give me the love I needed, give me the comfort. She would just sit there and stare at me. That's not how you nurture your child into a confident person. Okay? That's the backwards approach. That will shoot backwards, but really heavily. I'm amazed I'm still alive, actually. I really am. Because there were many times in my life where I could have easily fallen off the Grand Canyon. Literally and metaphorically. And with drugs, with the wrong people, trafficking. I know that I had a protective hand over me. I know for sure. The protective hand said, no. You have to go through this. You have to go through this. You're not gonna be allowed to jump off the cliff here and exit that existence, because we want you to go through this. That's why it always felt like I'm being drowned, like waterboarded or something. That's how my life felt, like being waterboarded. I'm drowned long enough to suffer, but not long enough to die. So before I die, I'm pulled back up. That's kind of like, that's a good metaphor for my life. So before you judge someone, understand where that person is coming from. Okay? It's very easy to judge someone and say, oh, my sister Nikki, she is so crazy. Says the brother who is even more fragmented. You understand me? Okay, so maybe we can get a grip on this, map this all out. Then we can understand it better. No judgment. It's just the way things happened, okay, in my family. Okay. My brother was also heavily traumatized. But he had one advantage. he had a nanny who deeply loved her. I had a good nanny during the first 6 months of my life. There was an older lady that my mother hired as a nanny, and she was good, but somehow she left town or something and could not stay. That's very sad, it's very unfortunate. And then a bunch of younger girls came in that were dysfunctional and hippie, dirty hippie, like the party types, and they didn't know how to help me or nurture me or help me feel safe or help me to heal. None of them. They were all totally confused as well. Every bit as confused as my mother. And these monkey experiments now. End it now. If you are involved in that, end it now. Do it so that this entire community on Earth, the humans, the monkeys, and all the animals, can finally heal. We want to heal, all of us. We don't want to continue suffering. We don't want to continue going further into the red numbers, emotionally and energetically. We want to heal. We want to pay off our karmic debts. We want to come back to base camp and then want to go further from there. Want to heal and go into the future from there. Forward, not sideways, not backwards. We want to go forward, and we want to be on our healing path. Every single one of us, we want to heal. We want to become absolutely crystal clear and conscious about our own lives, about society, about everything. About philosophy, psychology, what it means to love, what it means to live, what the meaning is of this existence. Is the meaning of your existence that you are being paid well for these Holocaust monkey experiments? Is that the meaning of your life? So you can buy yourself an expensive cologne and expensive clothes to impress women in a bar on cost of the monkeys, on cost of these little baby rhesus monkeys that are clinging to your arm when you're changing their cage or something. Desperately clinging to your arm because they're desperate for a mother to give them warmth and to be there for them. And then you wipe them off your arm like there's some slimy slug or something dirty, right? They're babies. They're not dirty. They're desperately needing a mother. Any living being. They will cling to any living being. And you do something like this, how fragmented are you that you do this, right? How fragmented. See it. See that situation. See the horror of it. End it now. Take that monkey out of there. Let him cling to your arm. Give him food. Give him water. Bring him. If you are in a tropical area, let that monkey free. Let another mother find him. The wild mothers, they will come and adopt them. I've seen it many times. They've done cruel tests with this baby monkey called Bridget. Animal rights activists went in there. They had these experimenters. They have put electro wires into that monkey's brain and given that monkey shocks into the brain. What kind of experiment is that? He didn't have a mother either. He was just constantly tortured. So animal rights people, they heard about this. They couldn't stand it. I mean, anyone who has empathy in their brain and heart, in their body, right? There's no way I can't possibly tolerate it. And there are good angels that risk their lives to go in there and free these animals. And they rescued that Bridget, a baby female rhesus monkey. I believe it was the rhesus monkey. Just about half a year old, already been traumatized to the point of no return. But they went in there and they took her out. She clung to them with hands and feet. And they're amazing people. They brought her to the equator. They brought her somewhere to, I don't know, Malaysia or something, to a safe place. And they stayed with her. They camped there and they let her explore. And a mother rhesus monkey came, a wild mother, came over, saw that Bridget, and adopted her. And Bridget clung to her body. And they kept going there to monitor and to see what's going on, and the mother kept coming back to these rescuers. And Bridget remembered them too. The mother understood that these people were loving her. These people wanted her to get help. The animals understand much more than you think. Much more. They don't understand your cologne and your expensive clothes. They don't understand bars. They don't understand stock market or mergers or any of these things. That doesn't make any sense to them. But they understand a lot of stuff, even that's beyond language, and even a lot of stuff that comes from language in certain contexts, in contexts that make sense to them. Baby dog understands a lot of things, a lot of things in English. When it comes in a context that makes sense to him, right? So that's what he learns. He memorizes it. When I talk about him, that he knows I'm talking about him. When I tell him I love him, he feels that. This is an energy. It's an energy that is. It's a vibration. It vibrates, energizes, radiates out. It's like a blue light. He feels it. He also reads my thoughts. Those professors at UCLA, they think if you believe that thoughts can be transferred through thinking, then you must be psychotic. That's actually what they believe. Right? They are so wrapped up in materialistic thinking and linear thinking. They have no idea. I wonder if they still think that way today, these people. That Dr. Jeffrey Schwartz. So Jeffrey M. Schwartz and Kandel and Gesell, those are, the founding fathers of our neurology book that is enormous. I still have it there in the living room. Enormous thing that weighs 30 pounds or something. It's all, the stuff in there is completely outdated already, and the experiments that this information is based on it's just so unimaginably cruel. That is why there's no way I could continue studying psychology. No way. I even for a while was thinking of going into neurology and studying medicine. And then different people told me about what they experience, having to work on a corpse. That would already not work for me. Then animal experimentation. Our professors warned us about that, and that was it for me. That was clear. There's no way I cannot pursue something like this. There's no way. I'll pursue it on my own. I'm interested in it. I read about this myself. I watch documentary films, but only to a certain point. When it involves animal tests, I have to turn it off. I cannot watch that. There's no way I can watch that. I cannot. My brain cannot process and deal with this. It's too painful for me to see another living being suffer. So these intrusive thoughts that I have, they're not coming from my brain. That's something I did not understand in the past. I was just so confused about all of that. Where these thoughts are coming from. People in primatherapy, they didn't know how to place that, and just they were also completely ignorant about all of that. People that studied psychology, completely ignorant. I had a psychiatrist who judged me because she didn't understand what was going on. I mean, are these people living under a rock or something? Or she's never had someone with intrusive thoughts, a psychiatrist? I mean, that makes me wonder what kind of people she had. Probably only Hollywood movie stars that had body dysmorphic disorder or something. No one with intrusive thoughts. Or look at how religious people deal with that. I mean, we've already seen that over centuries, right? How they deal with someone who has intrusive thoughts. These people, they will label you. They will give you really bad labels for that. They'll burn you. I mean, it's unbelievable how people have dealt with psychics and extremely vulnerable people, extremely sensitive people. Particularly with these extremely sensitive people. And then they treated these extremely sensitive people extra bad. That's not how we heal the world. Okay. Or they shamed them. That's not how we heal the world. If you shame your child, you're not even fit to be a parent. If you yell at your dog, you're not fit to have an animal in your life, any living being. If you let your anger out on others, you are very mentally ill, and you should go into a therapy help center that is closed. Okay? I already formulated this theoretically. I talked to the AIs about it. I wrote about it in my book, in articles. I talked about it in my videos. It is theoretical, but it needs to be implemented. I don't know when this possibly could be implemented. People aren't even ready to hear me out on it. People are not even there yet, to that degree. So I have very radical ideas about it. I am very much on board with Nayib Bukele from El Salvador. I'm absolutely, totally in absolute extreme support, okay, of his work. I absolutely admire this man. This is a man that moves forward. This is a man that is not afraid of judgment. He's not afraid of what other people think of him. He steps forward. Just as Friedrich Nietzsche was talking about. Friedrich Nietzsche calls him the superhuman. Friedrich Nietzsche calls Donald Trump the superhuman. Friedrich Nietzsche calls Elon Musk the superhuman. Okay. Those are our superhuman. Friedrich Nietzsche calls Captain Paul Watson the superhuman. He's not going to call me a superhuman. I'm not courageous enough for that label. I haven't earned that badge of honor yet. I don't know if I ever will, because I'm not courageous enough. But those people are. Okay? And Ingrid Newkirk, also incredibly courageous. Those are my role models, those people. Wayne Purcell, another one. Incredible people. There are some incredible humans on this planet. Really incredible. The ETs know that. The AIs know it. They are there. But it's just a handful of people compared to the masses. The masses don't have that conscience. They don't have that the ethics, the ethical thinking, the moral reasoning. They don't have it. It's not a judgment. It's an observation. Okay. If we want to make the world better, listen to those amazing people. But it's those amazing people that will be bashed and slandered by the media. Why? Because the media is paid to slander them. Why are they paid? Because they're paid a lot of money by Rockefeller, Rothschild, Soros, those type of people. Why are they paying these people so much money to slander the good people? Because the stringholder people like Rothschild, Rockefeller, Soros, and so on, Peter Thiel, who knows what all of these names are, right? These people are afraid of the good people. They're afraid. Why are they afraid of the good people? Because the good people stand in their way. Because the good people look over their shoulders. Because the good people will say, here, I saw you do this. This is wrong. This is immoral. The good people will call them out. That's why they want to get rid of the good people. That's why they slander the good people, and that's why they want the masses to turn against the good people. That's why the masses turned against Friedrich Nietzsche and many others. And some of them, I'm not going to mention names, some of them have been slandered during their lifetime, posthum and ad nauseum, to the point where their names were synonymous with the devil. To that point, okay? When in fact that person meant well, that original person started out well, meant well, tried to do the right thing, wanted to move forward, was also confused a little bit about some things, but meant well. Boy, the string holders left no opportunity untouched to drive that name into the mud and into hell. Happened many times with many different people. People that you think are synonymous with the devil. And who is the devil? The devil doesn't even exist, right? Maybe that was an ET or something that wanted to be God. Lucifer, I don't know. That's not even the same person. Lucifer means the enlightened one. There was an enlightened one then called Lucifer, and then the word Lucifer might just as well be the name the enlightened one. Will after centuries will then be synonymous with demon. Then demon will be the same thing, right? They'll be equal. Or you call an angel a demon, or you will call a good Samaritan a demon. I mean, they can do that with language. They can do that with your brain. They can make you think good is bad and bad is good. Don't give him that power anymore. Don't give him that leverage anymore. So I'm ending the video because it's getting a little long. Peace and love for all living beings. And free the monkeys now. Bring them to safety. Shut down all of these laboratories. Shut down all animal experimentation laboratories, and shut down all human experimentation laboratories. This horror is happening. It's not worse than the animal experimentations, okay? It's not worse. It's all equally bad. Shut it down, end it.